Hey, what up, team? It's Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, another good cook, and I am happy to say, if you can't tell by the lid, I'm making a fire today. We getting back on that old Lone Star. I got beef back ribs for you today. Do a little something different. I'm in the mood for some beef. I need some comfort food. Let's go. Alright, cut the music. You see we up bright and early. You didn't see the finished product. And let me check these things out one time while they nice and raw, daddy. We got us the beef back ribs here. This is almost 4.5 pounds. As you look, it is some beautiful marbling on here. There is some good meat on this rack of ribs. With that said, a lot of times you hear these called beef fingers. Reason being is you got these shiners coming through. They cut this real tight because this is actually where your big ribeye roast sits on top of. So they're trying to get as much of that ribeye out of there as possible. So really, you don't got much meat on top of the bones like your normal ribs. You're going to have more meat in between. But I actually feel like we got us a pretty nice slab because I see a lot of good meat on there. As far as the prep, we're going to keep this super easy. These babies look pretty. I could try to come in here and maybe clean off some of these little loose spots or little hanging edges or anything like that, or maybe shave down a little bit of fat. But to be honest with you, with the way that this rack looks, I'm not messing with it at all. It don't got a whole lot of fat on there. The one thing that I am going to do, and it's totally personal preference, is I'm gonna get rid of this actual membrane. You can also leave it on there and score it. The beef membrane compared to like the pork membrane is a lot thicker, so it is gonna be pretty tough. A lot of people will leave it on here so these bones don't fall apart too much. I'm not too worried because it's gonna end up pretty fingered anyway. And on top of it, I'm thinking about going all the way on the rack today, as long as I don't have no big hiccups. We're getting a little bit of rain today, so we'll see. If it's not taking too long on my cook, I plan on not wrapping, so that'll also keep them a little bit tighter and help them kind of hold together a little bit. So I'm not too worried. I'm taking this membrane off. Other than that, normally you're just gonna kind of rub along the edges and make sure you don't got nothing poking out as far as any of these bones, but I got a pretty clean side. And then we're gonna get right into getting some seasoning on here. And for binder, I'm actually gonna just be using just a little bit. I've already kind of rinsed these off and dried them off, patted them dry with a paper towel. Binder, I'm keeping it real simple. I'm just gonna be using a little bit of beef broth because I already have some of that already in the fridge. I add a little bit of soy sauce to that, just a tad, because it's kind of a low sodium beef broth, but I don't want this too salty. I got enough coming in my rub. Okay, so we got that membrane up off of there, nothing too crazy. Like I said, personal preference, but this thing ain't going nowhere. This is what we pretty much just pulled off of there. Like I said, it's a little thicker than the one on the pork. When I'm doing like the bigger beef ribs, I usually leave it on there because it'll actually kind of help keep everything together, and I cook them so long. Like I said, with these beef back, I'm not too worried. There was a little bit of chunky fat just sitting up in here that was starting to crumble off, so I couldn't help it. I had to take a little bit of that off of there just to keep things clean or whatever. But other than that, I already gave it its light spritzing, and this thing is ready to go. So as far as what we're gonna be using for seasonings today, I'm gonna be starting with a little bit of this black pepper. Mainly because it's going to help me develop a beautiful crust, and I am a fan of pepper, especially when we're talking about some beef. So I'm going to start with a nice little bit of black pepper, and then I like to go with this pepper first, being that it's thicker, it's coarse grain, and it's taking up like obviously a little bit bigger surface area because it's bigger. So before I put in anything else and start really filling up all of these pores, I like to get that pepper down first, and it'll leave space for everything else. So I got my pepper. Now again, some people don't even really worry about seasoning the bone side. I like the bone side as well. You know, I like to make sure I got a little flavor on that side just like the other side. And besides, you got the meat in between on these. So you want to make sure we get us a little bit of flavoring throughout, but do it the way you like. I'm coming in with Cosmo today. We're going to be doing a little bit of this Texas beef rub, which isn't too salty. It's got a nice little flavor to it. It's actually got a little bit of sweetness to it too. I'm just gonna come with a nice little layer of that, nothing too crazy. because I don't want these to end up too salty. They got plenty of fat in them, so you don't need a ton for seasoning. And now this cow cover with Cosmos is going to be my covering. This is going to give it a beautiful color. And this also has a beautiful savory flavor with a lot of like chilies and stuff like that in here. All right, that's respectful. Now let me pat this and flip it around. All right, finished product. Everything's chilling. You can already see I'm starting to sweat in a couple little areas. Oh, there we go. Got my pepper on like I did on the other side. A little bit of that Texas beef for the Cosmos rub, followed by a little bit of that cow cover. I'm going to let this hang out inside and sweat for about a good half hour or so while my temperature's coming up on the old Lone Star. We're going to be rolling in at 200 and roughly 50 degrees today. I want to go between 250, no higher than 275, and give these a little bit of time to hang out, get a nice bit of color, and a great little bit of smoke on. So as you can see, these babies got a little bit of time to sweat out. I got us up to 250 over here at the old Lone Star. Man, it feels good to be cooking and making a fire. And we pretty much gonna set these up nice and pretty right there in the center. And we're gonna let these go to sleep. Not much to do on these. I'll catch you back. We'll take a peek in them in about an hour when I toss some more wood on. Hey team, let me jump in here real quick. I want to let you know if you are new to the channel, I appreciate you for watching along. If you've been here, I appreciate you watching along. Make sure that you go to that bottom right corner if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel. Check out some of those cooks you already missed. You know we got a new one coming every week. And with that said, let's get back to the work. This thing has been rolling along like a champ at 250. I'm in the midst of throwing some wood in. I'm pretty much just about at an hour. Baby's looking good, drying out a little bit. So I brought my little spritz with me. Go ahead and focus in. The smoke is getting at me. Here we go. I went ahead and gave a 180 turn. Had the small end over here towards the firebox initially. So flipped it around. I'm about to give them a little bit of wetness while I'm letting this wood kind of catch. And then we're going to keep these things going. Not a whole lot to do here. Much better. Hit it with a little bit of that same thing I had, that beef broth, added a little bit of soy sauce in there, I added a little bit of oil. So we about to let these go ahead and hang right out. They looking great, good color. 2 hours in, rolling right along. Color's starting to look pretty. I see a little twisting and shouting starting to happen. That means we got some good cooking going, drying out a little bit towards that center. We see everything else starting to look nice and pretty. We're gonna go ahead and give it, let me dial that back just a little bit. There we go. And all we doing is giving this a nice little spritz. Make sure we don't dry out too much. My bark is setting up nice. Ooh, smoky, smoky. And that's what we looking like. I'm about to get this a quarter turn. Get this big bone straight in the back. And get this thing sticking out towards me. And we're going to close it up. Catch you in another hour. You see it. We ain't here close. We just about at 3 hours. I'm usually always loading my Lone Star in about every 45 minutes roughly. So I'm actually just now flipping this baby around. I'm going to pull it out here just so you can kind of see this thing a little bit in the light. My color is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you know when you got to move things around, you get a quick little taste on your hands, and I'm telling you, flavor is popping. I'm not mad at all. Just like that little bit right there, you know we're gonna taste that. This is going good. I just take a little temperature check, you know, basically just hit it with my Thermopro right in between the bones. You want this to get probe tender, which is usually going to be around 200 if you know that from your briskets and the beef ribs, all the other things that we didn't cook. I'm at about 190-ish all the way around. So I figure in about the next half hour, I'm going to come back out here and check this thing and I should be good to go. Color's good. Crust is good. We're leaving it unwrapped. I'll bring you back. So we are just a bit over the 4-hour mark, and as you can see, I got some good looking pullback. Color's still looking beautiful, and that's in the dark. I'm gonna pull you out here in the light so you can see in a minute. But these babies are ready to rock. I was about to throw another log in, but obviously, like always, got to check that temp. We're gonna see if it's still gonna give me a pretty high reading, even though it's been open for a second. These babies was just hitting at about 200 or so. So I'm actually pretty happy. And the main thing, there you go, it's all about this push through. When you push this in, it should be effortlessly. It shouldn't fight you at all. Those is ready to rock. We're gonna pull these out of here and let them rest for a half a second. And then the best part, we're gonna get us a taste. Let's get all the way back in there. Get all the way back in there. Woo-wee. Woo-hoo. Here go the first looks. These babies is shining, glistening, shall we say. We looking damn good. Got me a good looking bark on here. I've already got to taste a lot of this little bit of juice and stuff on my hands. I love the flavor that we got out of that black pepper, that Cosmos Texas seasoning, along with that cow cover. This thing is ready to go. I'm gonna flip this around so you can see the initial cut in, and then like I said, we'll get our taste. All right, we got these babies rested up a little bit. Tell you one thing. One thing I love about having these unwrapped the whole time, the texture you get is totally different. Obviously, you know we tender. We just took these babies up to 200. But these nice little bits on the end, this crispiness, this beautiful bark that we got, wouldn't quite be like this if I had wrapped it up. Would have definitely been a little bit more pale looking afterwards. There we go, sun's dropping a little bit for a quick second. But overall, I just love being able to get these little crispy bits on there, knowing that this whole thing is tender. And then, like I said, this is some great meat that you get on these beef back bones. While it's not a lot, they're usually not that expensive. So if you see them in your local grocery store or Costco, meat market, whatever, try them out. Remember, it's a giant ribeye slab that's usually sitting on here, so that's why they cut them so close. But at the end of the day, what's in between here is gold. But we ain't gonna talk too much more about it. I'm about to see if I can get these trimmed up without making too big of a mess. And before these flies come out here to come get me. I think I'm right on a bone. Oh my gosh, look at that beautiful marble. Trying not to shake this thing up too much. That's the first cut. Bow, smoke ring. That Lone Star is so undefeated. And we're gonna hit us another one. See if I can hit these without making a big mess. Roughly right in between these bones. There we go. Man, these smell so good. These old beef backs. Got another bone I'm hitting. There we go. Let me loose. That's on the bone right there. Should have turned these babies sideways. There we go. Get up off of that knuckle. All right, man, let me take one of these right out the middle and show you what time it is out here. Hello. Now, if that ain't pretty, I don't know what is. That looks nice and rendered. We got us a nice, fat, juicy, let's see, juicy rib. Woo-wee, get out of here, fly. Juicy rib. Oh yeah, this probably gonna be my one right here. I wanted to let you see what these look like as we got them all chopped up. Like I said, not a lot of meat on top, but you got a lot in between. So make sure when you're picking these out, that's something you need to look for. Looking for those thick middles. These have some beautiful marbling to start. I know this is about to be fire. Let's flip this thing around. All right, you know what time it is. We're gonna dig into this thing, but before I do and forget everything that I need to say, shout out to my guys over there at Black Smoke Barbecue. Shout out to all my fans and everybody that's been following along. And then shout out to a few of my subscribers that reached out to make sure I was okay on suicide watch after last Sunday's game. I appreciate y'all. It's a long season. We're gonna see what happens. What can I do? With that said, let's jump in here and get onto these ribs. I already eyeballed the one I want. I've already showed you these babies, so I'm not gonna waste too much time. This baby right here with all of this smoke is mine. All right, let's see what they taste like. Check out my bite. We're gonna start there. Check out that bite. Check out another bite. I might eat this whole rib on camera. This right here is fire, okay? Woo! That combination of the Cosmos, with Texas, mixed with the cow cover, with the black pepper, that's a winner.
I might have to try that on a brisket. You make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm gonna get into the rest of these ribs. We got a long day left. I appreciate y'all following along. Joe Mill here with Killer Miller Q. Until next week, peace.